Good day. My name is Michael Smickley, and thank you for coming to the show. Everyone's got a story. What's yours? Today we have Michael McKee here to talk about his story, and I thank you for being here today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
Most appreciated.
Yeah.
To give you a little bit of a concept of what the story's about is that we've all gone through life. Life happens for each and every one of us out there. As we've gone through, it has molded us and shaped us into the individuals we are. Because we've gone through the story of our lives, it is kind of mundane to us, but someone else who hears your story may resonate with it and or inspire them to be more. So today, with Michael McKee, we have his story here to be, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing about it.
All right. Where would you like me to start, sir?
Well, can you tell us about your experiences and why they're important to you, please?
My experiences are a little bit different than most. I grew up as an Air Force dependent. I grew up all over the world. I was born overseas to American parents.
Cool.
So for the first 14 or 15 years of my life, I lived all over everywhere.
That'd be kind of cool.
That had some drawbacks to it. One plus was that, when you move every couple of years, you have to learn how to make friends.
True.
And so that has become a skill over the course of time. And so now I can basically talk to anyone, anywhere. It's just kind of a gift.
That is got to be a good gift to have.
It is a good gift to have. And so, and you don't have that fear. A lot of people are not interested in making new friends because it can be a fearful step.
That is true.
And so for me, that has been an overcomeable challenge because if you're a wallflower, you don't have new friends. And so that's been good. And then my dad retired from the Air Force and we settled in Papillion.
Cool.
And I went to Papillion High School, and then I started at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Nice. In my education, and this was a year when Congress said we're going to throw out that GI Bill. Somebody wants to look that up, they can figure out what year that was. Probably every year, but they always say they're spending too much on defense. But they were going to throw out the GI Bill, and it had a lot of advantages. So I dropped out of college and enlisted myself in the Air Force.
Thank you for serving.
You're quite welcome. I served for a pretty good length of time. In 1992, I left the service. I did not reach my 20. And then I did quite a few jobs, and I had some really good successes in life and good positions and everything else. In 1987, I started a business on my own, even while I was still in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. And when I left the Air Force, I built that business up, and I at one time had 43 employees. And all the things they say about owning a business and making payroll, some of them, there's challenges in there you just can't foresee. And so I went through that. And then being from Nebraska, my father had passed previously. Mm-hmm. And my mother called from Omaha and said she was not doing well health-wise. So I went back and I came to visit. So I went back to where I was living and I sold off my business and closed out a business and came back to Omaha and worked in corporate America.
Okay.
And then a few years later, my mother passed, and I had that bug. I wanted to be my own entrepreneur. So once again, I've opened businesses. Now I've opened several businesses. I've partnered with other people to open businesses. In 2001, I went to Offutt Air Force Base and became a defense contractor.
That's cool.
And then in 2008, they asked me to convert over to civil service. And so I left on a Friday as a contractor and came back Monday as a civil servant.
That's cool.
I was able to complete my military time. Mm-hmm. And so together with time in uniform and time as a civilian, I was able to attain Air Force retirement.
That's cool.
So in 2017, on November 30th, I had a key birthday, and I had a retirement, and I had a grand reopening of business. And now I'm fully self-employed, and I basically do what I want to do when I want to do it and who I want to do it with. And so that's true
cool.
freedom.
That is true freedom. Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So So that's kind of my story. It's not, I mean, there's been challenges along the way, and I think my upbringing and my challenges that I had early in life that helped me to overcome as I moved on from there.
True, true. So you talked about some of the challenges. Can you think of any hurdles that we're personally facing, and how did you overcome those?
Hurdles are, it's kind of a funny a conversation about hurdles. Some people tend to take certain aspects of business and they make a mountain out of a molehill.
Yes, they can. We can do that. I know that.
And so you have to kind of kick back and get a little bit different perspective. If you're a biblical follower, Solomon was one of the wisest men, but he had a group of people that he relied on, a circle around him of advisors and people he would visit with. I have that as well. And so when a challenge pops up in front of me, generally I'll turn to my group and I'll just say, what do you think of this? And somebody will say, that's not a big deal. Don't let that bother you, or whatever. And so having that support group, if you will, it's really helpful.
Would it be like a mastermind group?
It could be titled a mastermind group, but it's really just a series of people that I've worked with in the past or work with presently. My group is all men, and they're all businessmen, and they're all seasoned businessmen, and they're specialists in each of their field, but they've been in business, and so we've all hit those hurdles that may or may not be true hurdles, and we've all, so when you put it in a collective and everybody kind of gives their own perspective of, what the deal is, it can kind of fade away. One of them is like the economy. The economy right now, and the topic of inflation is on everybody's mind, and the topic of jobs and retaining good employees, it's on everybody's mind. True. You can either let it bog you down, or you can just keep moving and just do the best you can with whatever you have. True. And then there are avenues that you can use for solutions to kind of overcome.
With what is going on in our today's society, there's a lot of different things that we have opportunities to manifest and move forward in our lives. Is there any key aspects of what is going on that can help other people along the way? That you men have talked about?
Yeah, one of my philosophies of life, if you will, is to be consistent. If you're consistent in most everything that you do, I believe there's a quote out there somewhere, although I can't tell you who quoted it, but consistency will get you what you want, and persistency will allow you to keep it.
That's true.
And so it's a good quote. If you're persistent in your process, you'll have good months and you'll have bad months, and you'll have good weeks, and you'll meet good people and you'll meet not so good people, and so on and so forth. But if you just keep on keeping on, you'll get to where you want to go. May take longer, may take a little bit more challenge, but persistency and consistency are kind of key for me.
Kind of reminds me of a meme I seen the other day, where water is going through the mountain because it's consistent and persistent, and it keeps going through the rocks and so forth until it pops out the other end. Yes. That's kind of the same aspect with working with life.
Yeah. But notice that the water is moving. If it were stagnant, it wouldn't have that impact on the rock. And so if you continue to move forward and like I said, just keep at it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what makes you feel to be inspired and motivated? What inspires you and motivates you to keep moving forward, keeping consistent? Any books? Is there any people you listen to? Is there any podcasts or anything that in, what's the correct term? Well, basically keeps you moving forward.
I read the Bible every day.
Cool.
I'm inspired by the biblical stories. Everything in the Bible focuses on one man, Jesus Christ, and it's important to me to be living that life, to be moving forward in that way. That comes out in my actions. I believe, unless someone has a different idea, but I believe that my actions are full of integrity and honesty, and that's how I do business and how I prefer to do business.
True.
One thing about that, I read all the time. I read business books. I read the shortened versions, like there's one called Short Form and there's one called Story Shorts, and all of those. Read-in graphics is another one. And they all add a little different flair to how they analyze those business books. But if you don't have time to sit down and read a 250 or 300 page business book, you can get the concepts in one of those short story type summary programs. I pay for those services, but it's well worth it in the end, because I don't necessarily have time to sit down and read a 250 page book if I can get the concepts and the ideals. Now, there was a couple of books that I've gotten the shorts from, and it intrigued me so much that I went back and read the full book.
That's cool.
But some books, this is probably not official, but if you write a book, you write the key concepts and you break it down into an outline, and then the publisher says, I need more. So you add a lot of fluff in here, and you add some personal stories, and you add some examples, and you add some everything else. But in my limited time, I want the key points. If I wanted the additional fluff, then like I said, I will go back and read the book.
True, very true.
But you can get some really good key concepts that way. There's a ton of really good books out there. Authors today are writing books that are of benefit to business owners. And so I'd recommend reading. There's a lot of excellent podcasts that are available. The drawback that I find on podcasts is that, again, you can listen to a 38-minute podcast and you could have gotten the outline in 6 or 7 minutes. And when your time is a premium, you want to optimize time and how those things come together.
That's true. That's true. Speaking of writing, you are writing in the Omaha Daily Record?
Yes, I'm a columnist in the Omaha Daily Record. I write a column called Empower You.
Ooh, nice.
The concept of the Empower You column is to provide tips for people that will either increase their productivity or reduce their worry, give them better ways to do things. It also covers quite a bit in the identity theft realm, ways to reduce your risks of identity theft, and then also anything kind of computer security related. So
that's cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Definitely, in our world, what we live in is a little more data, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And the internet-based, having your type of knowledge that you've acquired over the years, to be able to have people to be able to read that, would be like crucial knowledge to have.
I have certifications in cybersecurity and fraud risk management as well.
Very cool. Very cool.
So it helps me to put that together. Writing is kind of a new thing for me. I've not ever written before, and so sitting down and writing an article kind of puts me in a different place, and so I've been enjoying that aspect of life. So
very cool. Very cool.
I give also presentations to groups or churches or centers for chapters or organizations on those topics, and so I get to, my motivation is not sales, although I do offer some products that help with that. But my main motivation is just educating people and helping people to be better prepared for challenges.
I know we've known each other over almost 2 decades now.
We have.
And we've met at the Omaha Empowerment Breakfast years ago.
We did.
And there's definitely one of the best places to be is to connect, if you're business owners or even sales professionals, to connect with others. And it's not about the sales aspect, it's about connecting people for relationships.
Building relationships.
Is that correct?
Especially strategic relationships, yeah.
Yes.
So the Omaha Empowerment Breakfast got its start in 2001. It was put together by the Small Business Administration. And over the course of the last 20 years, it's been run by four groups of individuals over the course of time, and it's been an Omaha tradition.
Very true.
And during COVID, the group that had it at that time, they turned it over into a Zoom meeting. And then the numbers kind of went down, and they were dwindling down, and that they decided to sundown it at that time. And so the month after they sundowned it, I was sitting with a business partner of mine, and I said, I'm so bummed that it's no more. And he said, well, why don't you see if we can get it? So I sent an email to the three that were running it, and we got the permission to press on. And so I do a lot, I organize all the speakers coming in, and I do all the registrations, and I get everybody set up, and I do the full organization for each event every month. It's on the first of every month. And it's a great service. It allows me to promote other business owners and get their business some visibility that they wouldn't otherwise have.
Which also builds up the communities that we're in.
Yes.
Because as it helps edify each other to move forward,
Yes.
so you can able to help be a positive impact the communities.
Yes.
There's been numerous things we've talked about over the years, and it's really kind of fascinating.
Yes.
To see over the last, I've been doing it since 2008. About almost 18 years now, off and on over the years. And I've seen the transition and movement forward in the communities around the area, and the people who've grown. And it's a lot of fun.
Yes. The Omaha business community is
Yes.
it's a hometown, Midwestern value, community-driven movement, if you will. Everybody is there to help everyone else. True, there is competition, and you'll find competition, and sometimes healthy competition. But generally, everyone there is there to help everyone else.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
And so,
is there anything that I should have asked but haven't?
well, no matter your age, you need to still be setting goals, and you need to still be looking ahead. I'm a seasoned professional. I'm on in years, but I'm not slowing down. Business is still good. I have people I know in circles, friend circles and church circles and everything else, of people that are my age that are retired. It's not unheard of, but not everyone wants to be retired. Not everyone wants to. My wife and I travel.
That's cool.
We do things that retired people do, but I still have a desire to have an impact in the Omaha business community, and so.
Which is good.
So that's that. So it doesn't matter your age. If you're just starting out, or you're seasoned, mature, or whatever is the right term. Set some goals and make some of them personal, but make them to help others as well. Because when we help others, it propels us forward.
True.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, there's good days and bad days, as I've mentioned, but but the key is to never quit. Never.
True.
If the path you're on, you think, and you keep hitting a dead end, sometimes changing of the path, or as they say, changing horses midstream or whatever, sometimes that can be wise, but don't ever quit. Take your knowledge and your drive and your skill sets and your pluses, and just keep moving in a forward position. I'm a lifelong learner. Lifelong learning is a good thing.
True.
If the last time you read a book was in high school, get an audiobook. It's information is available. This is an information age. We have more information available to us now than we've ever had. There's strengths and benefits being formed in every facet of life. Science and philosophy and everything. It's just so there's just so much information. So don't sit on the information. Acquire new skills, learn more. Always continue moving forward. And then, like I said, if you're on a path that you think is just a dead end path, find some advisors. Find some people that you trust, that you would look up to. We say in the business world, there's three types of people. there's the people you look up to. If they buy a something, you know, I might be inspired to buy that. But if you know, and so there are people that I watch, and then there are people that watch me. So the people that I watch, that's 5% of people in my circle, and then there are people that watch me. So if I were to buy something, they would go and look at buying the same thing. I have that type of an impact on 5% again of my circle. The other 90% are people in my peer group, and like I said, they may be competitors or there may be people on the same path with me, but it doesn't matter. And so I'm there running the Omaha Private Breakfast to promote other people's businesses, to get them into a position where they're noticed and their business increases.
Very true.
And then through that, my business will increase as well. There's a law of reciprocity. Are you familiar with that?
That's a $20 word, isn't it?
It is a $20 word, yeah. Reciprocity is, you know, let's say my neighbor had surgery, and I knew he had surgery, but his grass needed to be cut, and so I would go over and cut his grass, knowing that he's convalescing in the house. Besides, just too darn hot to be out cutting your grass anyway. But
especially today.
so when he is feeling better, you know, and he's up and about, it's likely that he'll beat me to cutting my grass as well. And so when I bring a lead to someone and they get business from that, then they turn to me and say, well, how can I help you? And so that's what reciprocity does. And so
Very cool.
it's a good law to live by, especially in business. And there are givers and there are takers, but generally, like I said, everybody in Omaha wants to help everyone else.
Which is very awesome indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the paying it forward, I do that often, helping
Yes.
others to be better in their lives and whatever it may be as best I can.
Yeah.
And as you're talking about with reading, as the old saying goes, readers are leaders.
Yes.
Only if you apply what you read
Yes.
to that aspect.
Yeah.
It takes that action to have the manifestation be part of what you want to do, accomplish in life.
I make the assumption that if someone reads a book, they're going to apply it. Maybe not immediately, but at some time in the future. Or it's going to play into their thought processes or something. I've not ever seen anyone read a book and then just push it aside and not do anything with it. It just hasn't been my experience. But I suppose it can be done. But there you go.
Like myself, since I'm a little dyslexic, it's harder for me to read the books. I have to read it 3 or 4 times, the same thing back and forth until it actually sinks in. So I use a lot of audiobooks, which helps me to the auditory aspect to be able to get it. But there are a few books out there I do get a chance to really engage with, and I want to absorb as much of that knowledge as I can and to apply it in my life. So yes, I understand.
If you use the Amazon for your books, Amazon, if you buy a Kindle book, they'll offer you an audio version with it. And if you buy the audio book, then they'll offer you the Kindle version for a reduced rate.
Interesting.
And so if there's a book that I feel is important, I will get both, and I will read while I listen.
That is a brilliant idea.
Yes, it is. Yeah, Amazon thought of that. I didn't have anything to do with that, but it's very effective.
I definitely have to keep that in mind. I did not know about that feature.
Yeah. There are some other services, Scribd, SCRIBD.com. They offer audiobooks as well as the printed Kindle version. And so sometimes they'll have a book in both forms. And on that one, you pay a flat monthly rate of $11.99 is my rate. And then you have access to their whole library of books.
Interesting.
Whereas on Amazon, you have in the Audible version or the audio book version, you're buying credits every month, and you have a limited amount of stuff.
Okay.
Whereas in Scribd, it's kind of wide open. If it's in their library, you have access to it.
That's actually quite fascinating.
Yeah. So, and there's I just read an article the other day. There's about I think the article said there are 10 places to get books online at either free or at no charge. And Libby is another one. Libby works with the library.
Oh,
so if you have a library card to the Omaha Public Library, you can actually pull up a book that's in the Omaha Public Library and read it right on your phone or your device. And
that's cool.
And the Libby program does all that for you. And there's no charge for that as long as you have the library card already. So
I'll definitely get a new library card, looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah. So many ways that you can get at information, whether you're on a limited budget or not, you have access to things.
And well, like you said earlier, it's the information age.
It is.
So it makes logical sense.
Yes, yeah.
While we wrap up here, is there any, like, 30 seconds or so you want to add anything else to us?
If you're a business owner, come to the Empowerment Breakfast. It's a non-membership. This is my sales pitch. It's non-membership. I'm not supposed to do a sales pitch. It's non-membership. It's anybody can come. It's reasonably priced. It includes a breakfast buffet. There's a lot of people there. We have a growing number of people every month.
That is very true.
And so it's, we might have 8 bankers and 5 realtors. We're not like some of the groups that are singular where you have one of each of those. But if you're looking to work with another realtor on a project, or you want to cater to a particular part of people, then you can partner with someone there. If you're looking for the right banker that can help you with a business endeavor, I mean, you could talk to 5 of them at the end of the breakfast, and you're right there. So it's a good sharing time. We do have 6 3-minute speakers that are able to get up and talk about their business and present the type of people that they're looking for. We use a sponsorship program for help to fund the breakfast, and each month we feature 2 sponsors, and then we have a main speaker every month as well.
Which is very awesome to have.
And those main speakers, I mean, we've had some really good names. We've had a couple of congressmen, and we've had some legislators, and we had the mayor of Omaha.
Yep.
Time in the past. And besides the political realm, we have good business people. We've had book authors. We've had people that are in business.
And many others coming up soon.
And many others coming up soon that I won't mention because I don't know what month you'll be seeing this. But yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. But just go to omahaempowermentbreakfast.org and check out the website. It'll tell you who the current speakers are. Again, check out all the tabs across the top, sponsorship, that type of thing. So,
sounds good. Well, thank you very much for being on Everyone's Got a Story. What's yours? And thank you, everyone that's out there. We're looking forward to seeing you come back next time. And thank you. My name is Michael Smickley, and today's guest is Michael McKee.
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.